attractions down here at Fisherman's Wharf. But how much do you know about... Have you ever heard of the Barbary Coast? Well, that's what this wharf was called during California's gold rush days. San Francisco became a boom town almost overnight. A rough and tumble district of warehouses and saloons sprang up along here. Stories tell of how in some of those saloons, an unsuspecting sailor might be served a Mickey Finn, a strong drink that would knock him out cold. Then he'd be shanghaied onto a merchant ship. When he woke up, he was forced to work, whether he liked it. It was a long time before he would see land again. But that didn't keep the crowds away. Even back then, San Francisco was known as a place to let loose and have some fun. Whenever a ship dropped anchor, the sailors would make a beeline to the wharf to indulge in some of the delights of the city. Drinking, gambling, of, shall we say, companionable living. As we round the bend, take a look at the ships docked here at the Hyde Street Pier. Find the ship with the 3 tall masts. That's the Belclutha. It was built in Scotland in 1886. In her day, the Belclutha sailed very dangerous to the Cape Horn at the tip of South America, across the Atlantic Ocean to its northern end. In the 19th, retired and brought here to the Hyde Street Pier. But the Belclutha still sees some action now and then. In fact, she had a starring role in the film Enemy on the Bounty, along with Marlon Brando. Now find the big ferry boat docked next to the Belclutha. It has a plaque. That's the Eureka, once the largest ferry boat in the world. In the 1890s, long before the Golden Gate and Bay Bridges were built, the Eureka ferried people, cattle, and even a few train cars across the bay.
That brick building, that's Ghirardelli Square. And look, see, there are bees right there. Stand up. Stand up.
Right there?
Yeah, stand up on here and I'll hold you. See where that brick building is over there?
Yeah.
Look up the hill behind the breaker. Find the long red brick building. It has a large white sign. That's Ghirardelli Square, in business since 1893. But as much as I do, and that may be hard, you'll have to visit Ghirardelli Square. It once housed a factory that churned out every kind of chocolate you can imagine, and some you haven't thought of yet. Today, however, the factory has been converted to condos, but you can still enjoy some delicious chocolate treats at the Ghirardelli shop. The rest of the square is fun too. It's full of stores and restaurants that offer more delicious treats. Now find the white Art Deco style building near the shore. With its rounded corners, it kind of looks like a ship. Appropriately enough, inside is the So Maritime, a great place to learn about this region's seafaring past, including the Barbary Coast. Do you see any people on the fishing pier today? If you want to try your luck while you're here, go ahead. You don't need a license. You also might see some swimmers in the water around here. Very brave swimmers. The water in the bay always stays around a chilly 50s, but the Dolphin Swim Club dives in every day. See if you can spot any of their bright orange swimming caps. Come over here and see the skyline. Have you tried to walk up and down any of those steep streets yet? Some San Francisco streets are at such a steep angle that their sidewalks have stairs cut into them, just to keep you from falling over. But if you've got a car, don't miss the world's treat. It's called Lombard Street and is Russian Hill. Even in thick fog and pouring rain, there'll be a line of cars wind down Lombard's twisted slope at the posted speed limit of 5 miles per hour. Those green wooded hills we're passing now are part of Fort Mason. The Spanish established Fort Mason when they first came to this area in the mid-1700s. They held the fort until 1850 when the U.S. took it over. The Army built the orange-roofed warehouses you see along here. During World War II, over 1 million American soldiers passed through those buildings on their way to the war in the Pacific. But today, instead of soldiers and supplies, inside those warehouses are a music school, a theater company, environmental organizations, and several museums. Now look at the neighborhood just past Fort Mason. That's the Marina District. Is anything different about it? Unlike a lot of San Francisco, it's relatively flat. That's because it was bay. This area was created by a landfill project in 1915 for one of our city's greatest festivals, the Panama Pacific International Exposition. In the eyes of the world, the Panama Pacific Exposition is staged to celebrate the completion of the Panama Canal. And San Franciscans were celebrating an even more important event, the rebirth of their city after the devastating earthquake of 1906. It was the largest quake ever recorded in America, 8.25 on the Richter scale. As buildings toppled, an immense fire broke out. It swept across the city and burned out of control for 3 days and 2 nights. A quarter of a million people were left homeless. Many lived in tents while the city was rebuilt. Ironically, the land created to celebrate surviving that earthquake was the hardest hit part of the city in the next big one, the Loma Prieta earthquake of 1989. The landfill was unstable, and just as in 1906, this fell, fires quickly spread. Fireboats were called in right where we are now, and began pumping water from the bay to squelch the flames. Their quick response saved lives, but many Marina residents were left homeless. Some of them camped out in tents while their homes were being rebuilt, the 1906 survivors. Past the Marina neighborhood and find the tall dome building. That's the Palace of Fine Arts. It's the only building to remain from the 1915 Panama Pacific International Exposition. It's just such a beautiful Boarders have joined the action. These